Okay, so jumping right in,
Hmm.
our sources give us this great snapshot from Saturday night's main event.
Right. This was Tampa, May 24th, 2025.
Yeah, with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee on commentary.
Yeah.
And what struck me right off the bat was how they mixed the history with, the current stuff.
Definitely. What really stood out in the broadcast notes was seeing the legends there, like Jimmy Hart ringside with the megaphone.
Classic.
Totally. And one summary pointed out he managed in like over 30 Saturday night's main events back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah, even mentioned him managing the Nasty Boys against the Bushwhackers. So it's this like direct line to the past right there on the broadcast.
And speaking of Bushwhackers,
Mhm.
Luke was there too.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
Yep.
And you had that moment, that attempted Bushwhacker lick on Jimmy Hart. Classic Bushwhacker chaos.
It really felt like a deliberate nod, a tip of the cap to that history right in front of everyone.
Bushwhacker Luke Williams, the notes mention he's 78. And Jimmy Hart noted at 81.
81, wow.
And the reaction captured in the notes about them being there and how they looked, it was pretty strong. Meltzer's quoted saying, quote, "Absolutely not one person who watched the show will believe that." Like, believe their ages, presumably.
Yeah, that's what's fascinating there. Not just that they were spotted, but the sheer, disbelief recorded in the nights about their age and appearance.
Right.
Especially that specific bit about Jimmy Hart. Jimmy may be the youngest-looking 81-year-old in history. And then it adds, and it's not like he's had an easy life.
Huh.
It's just an observation from the notes that really kind of underscores their incredible endurance, or at least the perception of it.
It's a wild detail to include, for sure. Yeah.
And even, small things. Pat McAfee doing the pencil flip for Mr. Perfect.
Oh, yeah. That's all that mentioned.
It just reinforces that connection. It shows they're aware of their own, lineage, celebrating it while the show's still rolling.
Okay, so let's shift gears slightly. Moving from the ring for a second. Because the sources also flagged some big announcements about stuff happening outside the ring, which seems like a trend.
Oh, for sure. This Fanatics Games thing sounds, big.
Right. Scheduled for June 20th to the 22nd.
In New York City, Javits Center.
And it's not just like an autograph session. They're calling it a decathlon-style competition. 8 challenges, testing different skills.
And the names involved.
Wow. Seriously stacked. You've got top WWE people, John Cena, Logan Paul, Becky Lynch, Tiffany Stratton, Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Seth Rollins.
And then alongside them, you've got these huge mainstream sports stars.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, A-Rod, Jaden Daniels, Gronk, Kevin Durant.
It's quite the mix. And they mentioned 50 fans get to compete too.
Yeah, which is wild.
So what's the angle there for WWE putting their guys and girls in that kind of setting, competing like athletes next to Brady and Durant?
Well, I think that's the insight, right? When you look across the sources, it feels like they're positioning the WWE roster as, legitimate, multi-skilled athletes.
Well, not just performers.
Exactly. On this global stage, it's a huge crossover, pushes the WWE brand into that wider sports and entertainment world. Maybe it reaches people who wouldn't normally watch.
And the prize money, $2 million, adds some serious stakes.
For sure. It's not just for show.
It definitely makes you pay attention when you see that list of names all together.
Yeah.
And while we're on things outside the ring, one source mentioned an ad during the show.
Oh, yeah, for that Netflix show, WWE. Unreal.
That's the one. Coming this summer, goes backstage into the writer's room, apparently.
Interesting. Another sign of them expanding, taking people behind the curtain, but in a scripted way.
Okay, let's swing back to the ring itself. Specifically looking ahead, Saturday night's main event was also really pushing the Worlds Collide event.
Yes, June 7th for that one. Kia Forum in LA.
Airing 3 Eastern, 12 noon Pacific.
On the WWE YouTube channel. And one summary called it a tremendous event, so clearly it's important.
They announced a couple of matches. We've got Legado del Fantasma.
Right, in a trios match. Against Psycho Clown, Pagano, and El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr.
Okay. And then the other one, this is where it gets interesting looking across the sources. El Hijo del Vikingo versus Chad Gable.
Seeing Vikingo on a WWE promoted show like this,
Yeah.
that's significant. He's a top guy from AAA.
The Mexican promotion WWE acquired.
Exactly. So this is that integration starting to really show up in big matches.
It's kind of wild. The broadcast even showed AAA footage of him.
On NBC.
Yeah, think about that. And then they cut to him live in the crowd in Tampa. Got a big ovation, apparently.
Yeah, commentary was putting him over big time. Exciting, exhilarating. They're definitely showcasing him.
They are. And his opponent, Chad Gable.
Yeah.
That brings up another layer of speculation based on the sources.
Ah, the double duty possibility.
Yeah, the sources mentioned that whole ongoing thing with Penta versus El Grande Americano.
Which has been building strongly.
And they raised the question, could that match also end up on the Worlds Collide card?
Hmm.
And if it does Gable wrestle as El Grande Americano in that match?
Yeah.
And also is Chad Gable against Vikingo?
It's a valid question.
Especially because, as one report noted, the announcement for the Vikingo match specifically said Chad Gable, not El Grande Americano, which is, kind of interesting for a show focused on Lucha Libre.
And this is exactly where looking at everything together reveals something, well, potentially huge.
Okay.
Because looking closely at that Worlds Collide match announcement, it seems to lead to a major, probably unintentional spoiler, according to one news source anyway.
A spoiler. Okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
How does advertising a match spoil an earlier match?
Okay, so here's the deal. WWE is advertising the AAA Mega Championship.
Right.
It's being on the line in that El Hijo del Vikingo versus Chad Gable match at Worlds Collide. That's June 7th.
Okay, got it. But need the context here. Right now, as these sources came out, neither Vikingo nor Gable actually holds that title.
Correct. The current AAA Mega Champion is Alberto El Patron. And here's the kicker date the sources flagged. Alberto El Patron is already booked to defend that exact title against El Hijo del Vikingo on May 31st.
May 31st. So that's before Worlds Collide on June 7th.
Bingo!
Ah, okay, I see it now. So if WWE is advertising Vikingo versus Gable for the AAA Mega title on June 7th, they must be assuming and basically telling everyone that Vikingo is going to beat Alberto El Patron and win the title on May 31st.
That's exactly the implication. It looks like a pretty clear sign of a future title change just sitting there in the advertising for the later show.
Wow, that's a pretty big detail just hiding in plain sight.
It absolutely seems like an advanced look at an outcome, revealed just by connecting the dots between the June 7th match stipulation and the May 31st scheduled defense. It's a fascinating side effect of these promotions working together, or one owning the other.
Okay, let's pivot now. Another huge moment from Saturday night's main event that the sources really focus on.
John Cena.
John Cena. And this whole he's character shift he's going through.
Yeah, his appearance was framed as part of his retirement tour. Sources specifically said this was billed as his last time wrestling in Tampa.
And the broadcast package, it sounds like, caught people up, recapped his journey since that heel turn at Elimination Chamber back in March.
Yeah, showing how he's changed from, the Cena everyone knew for so long.
And his promo. Man.
Yeah.
Sounds like it was something else.
Oh, yeah. He apparently went in hard, talking about the crowd making the same damn noise for 25 years.
Wow.
Using really strong stuff, like calling his relationship with the fans abusive, saying he was a victim.
That's stark. He claimed changing, winning, it was never enough. Called the fans hurtful, selfish takers.
Pretty much. And he flipped the script on his own merch, saying fans wear it for themselves, not to support him, contrasting it with his claim that he lives hustle, loyalty, and respect every single day.
And declared himself a 17-time world champion.
Yep. And then dropped that line. I don't need you anymore. I don't care about you, and you don't matter to me.
Just brutal. Directed right at the audience.
Totally. And then stated his goal. I am going to ruin wrestling for every fan, every wrestler, for everyone.
Whoa.
Saying he'll be the last real champion, and nothing can stop him. It's a complete 180 for a guy who was the ultimate good guy for, decades.
It really is. And it set up his match against R-Truth, right? Calling it reality check time.
Yeah. It shows they're really leaning into this darker version of Cena, committing to it.